right, guys, I gotta say, this guy has had a pretty big impact on my career here covering MMA. Of course, I've got a chance to watch some of his biggest fights live and speak to him throughout him. And here we are again as he is back in Australia after a well-deserved holiday, and we talk about what's next. Former champ and pioneer now in the space here in Australia, Robert Whitaker, dude. Thanks for joining me on a busy morning.
Thank you very much for having me. Sorry in advance for all the noise in the background. All the kids are getting ready for school. And
don't worry about it. I was just chasing around a bottle for my kid. You know, they got the little tops. You got to take them out, and I couldn't find the thing. They lose it. It's the worst. Different life for us now, brother. Hey, let me ask you, how was the holiday? Where did you guys go?
Just went on a little bit of a holiday. It was great. Like, because not only was it good because I took the whole family and they just got to experience, you know, a country other than Australia. It was, I was able to get some work done at the same time. I've been furthering some projects and working on some different skill sets for when I come back to the space, when I come back to the sport. Yeah, mate, it was much needed. It was much needed.
Any kind of hints or what kind of skill sets you're talking about? You mean like martial arts wise or like different kind of like, what kind of, give us a taste. What were you working on over there?
Well, I guess last year, at the end of last year, I was given the chance to be able to sit down and really just evaluate my fight style and you know, the direction that what I've been using, what has been effective, how I want to continue fighting, like what I've like inside, like what I feel like doing, and how I kind of want to push that on my opponents moving forward next year. So I've just been working on I've been working on my striking. I've been working on every skill set, you know, to always better it. But I've been working on a lot on jiu-jitsu. I've been enjoying it a lot. I've always done jiu-jitsu, but I've never really focused on it as a main attacking aspect. But I've been playing with the idea of it lately. Been doing a lot of gi, which has just been helping everything else. And it's been like a nice change in it. You know, it's all part of the same sport. It's all systems for MMA, but it was cool to focus on like a different side of the sport.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. Do you have like a favorite gi submission that you love practicing right now, or that you're like working on?
I definitely like Top Game more than anything else.
Yeah.
Head and arm, like gi, no gi. it's such a good move. It's my favorite, right?
Best head and arm was the Brock Lesnar fight with Shane Carwin. Remember that? Well, he just grabbed onto him. It was just the craziest thing ever. And ever since then, I've been doing head and arms unsuccessfully in jiu-jitsu ever since. Hey, I got to ask you, man. Obviously, you were in town for the DDP Sean Strickland fight. Did you get a chance to watch that rematch between the boys at all when you were on holiday or when you came back? Did you give it a bit of a peek?
Yeah, I did. I did watch it. I did. And, you know, I mentioned it on my own podcast, my predictions for that fight, and I feel like a lot of them held true. It was the same kind of feeling and thought that I had, since their first pairing was just like Sean Strickland had the belt and still lost the decision to Dricus. And I guess in their second match, it's like, what can Sean Strickland do differently to get a different outcome? And honestly, he hasn't fought since that fight. Dricus has. We've seen improvements in Dricus since Sean's fight, like when he fought against Izzy. So I was wondering, like, what element can Strickland bring into this fight to get a different outcome? And my answer always kept coming up null. Like there's nothing that, you know, realistically he can do differently. Not without really pushing a different angle or a different fight plan. And yeah, that's what happened, right?
He's kind of got an interesting style, right, Sean? It's a little bit different. Like he likes to lead in with jabs and keep distance with his teeps, and he moves forward and takes space away from fighters. I know you were talking to Anthony Smith just the other day about, hey, maybe this could be the next guy for me. What do you make of the style that he has? It's a little bit, I guess, unique in his own way, right? Like not many people can replicate what he does in there.
Yeah, it's very effective. You know, he can put it. It's very effective, and he implements it well against guys, you know, especially high level guys, which is, you know, where I guess a lot of his credits come from. But like, you know what it reminds me of? You remember when like you're in the kitchen with your sister and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm coming forward, and if you walk into it, it's your own fault. That's the vibe I get when I see him fighting. Like, and it is super effective, and it's so effective on super high level guys. Like the way he was able to nullify and shut down a lot of Izzy's game when he fought him, and you've seen it time and time again when he's done it on other guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when we were watching the Izzy fight, I think you were there as well. It was like kind of like you're like, oh wow, man! Like as it's happening, you're like, oh wow, this is actually happening. Like as he's taken away the space, you're like, oh wow, he's actually able to implement this. What makes him sort of stand out to you next? Because I know like Caio Borralho, he's been loving the idea of potentially fighting you. There's obviously Imavov in the division. He's coming off over this win over Israel. But then you and Sean Strickland, like you mentioned it to Anthony Smith, you guys have been around for so long, kind of circled each other a bunch of times. And that's a great fight too. What is it about him that kind of stands out over those other guys?
Mainly that angle. It's just like I said, we've kind of been circling each other for a long time. We've been at the top of the game for a while now, and I don't know, it just seems like the logical next step for me. Like I said, we have been circling each other for a long time now. There's been hints and talk, but we've never really crossed the line, and now we're both in a position to kind of get that done. So I don't know, it just makes sense.
What do you make of what would a Robert Whitaker Sean Strickland press conference look like? Do you see the build up to this one? It was getting wilder and wilder by the minute. He's untapped, this guy.
I don't know. It's like, what am I thinking of? I feel like trash talk has lost its skill, its finesse. You know what I mean? I feel like there used to be more skill involved. There used to be more thought involved. There used to be more finesse involved, whereas now he's kind of he's just saying anything that comes to mind. Like, it's crude. It doesn't pair well with everything else that he's saying. Sometimes it's off topic. It's a skill. Trash talking is a skill.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like at the Comedy Store at 1 a.m. when I interview that guy. Sometimes he's like, here's the thing, you guys, Bryce Mitchell. And you're like, oh my God, we're here to talk about you and DDP. And then, he's doing like crazy fact checking on his, anyway, I don't want to get into it. I don't want my phone, this interview to be demonetized. Hey, let me ask you this, man. Khamzat and DDP. Now that looks like the next fight. Who do you think is going to walk away as the champion here, especially after what you've seen from DDP? It looks like he's kind of slowly leveling up his game set a little bit every single fight.
Yeah, I can't see anyone really stopping Chimaev's takedowns. Like, his takedown is so hard to stop, and his wrestling and his grappling is just, it's super high level. I guess the question always comes in is like, can DDP drag it into those later rounds? Can he get through the first wrestling grappling exchanges and then start to capitalize on his just like persistence, like doggedness to go away? Because honestly, if Chimaev can't get DDP out of there, DDP wins. Like DDP wins almost every fight. You can't get rid of him, right? Because he's like mold, dude. He will not go away. Hey, and do not headline this whole talk with like Rob Whitaker says DDP is like mold. Okay, that's not what I said.
Rob Whitaker trashes DDP. He's mold.
But honestly, dude, he's not going anywhere. He'll just wear you down and belt you up until he wins. So I guess that's really the only thing that I'm thinking about. Like, but I do know that Chimaev in that first round is so hard to stop.
It was actually really weird because in Sydney, while you were away on holiday, like when I was watching the fight live cage side, Alex Pereira was there sort of cornering Sean Strickland, and he's just like staring DDP down for 5 rounds. Like, he's just standing there staring DDP down for 5 rounds and not really offering any. There's no cornering, obviously, because he doesn't really speak English, but he just stood there, just stared at him for 5 rounds. And then afterwards, like, they're doing this whole thing where they're like, let's do it this year. And apparently he has all this disdain for DDP. I mean, why do you reckon Pereira's just so set on sort of having his DDP fight? Bahia was telling me he thinks it's because Alex just sees it as a favorable fight for him before he sort of moves on.
Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it. I didn't understand that whole. Why was Pereira there, dude?
He's fighting in a few weeks. He was collecting cash from these like private seminars and staring down DDP. It was weird as.
He doesn't even speak English. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I guess that's kind of where Sean's head is in the game. It's like, I don't know. I don't know.
I guess there's a number of ways you could say Sharma with different like facial things, and I guess it means different things. I don't know. But another guy that's been talking about your division is Belal Muhammad, bro. He's fighting UFC 315. He's set on moving up basically at the end of this year. If he gets a couple of title defenses, he wants to test your division, fight Strickland, fight DDP, possibly you, of course, if you're in the mix. What do you make of Belal sort of wanting to make this jump up? Obviously, him and Islam are mates, and Islam's going to be making the jump to welterweight soon as well. But do you think, as someone who's moved up from welterweight yourself, do you see Belal having much success in your division?
I don't think he'll have the success he's had in welterweight. Like, I think a strong point for him in his division right now is his size, you know, and his strength. But the size increases as you move up. They're big guys in the division, and I do feel like a lot of the top fellas in our game, the skill set's quite diversified. You know, I don't think he'd have as much success, but who knows? Maybe he will.
Yeah, it's fascinating because he's fighting JDM next, right? People don't know the beast that JDM is. That's not going to be an easy fight, right?
Dude, I like that fight for JDM. JDM's one of those guys that doesn't go away. And he's always looking to close that space and to just drag the fight out and just beat you up. He's got super effective boxing and striking. And obviously, with his fight against Burns, we saw that he can get taken down. He can get back up, and his effectiveness doesn't really diminish. So, yeah, I like that fight for him.
Dude, yeah, there's no, like, people haven't actually seen him at his ceiling yet. This guy's always improving. It's going to be a great fight. Dude, couple of fan questions before I let you go. But before we go to those, just quickly. So Sean Strickland, ideally time-wise, I know like they're trying to get another fight card in Australia in Perth, but there's no way Sean Strickland will probably be led back in the country anyway. When and where would you like to have this Sean Strickland fight?
I'm looking for a June return. Like I said, I want to I've been working on a lot of new skill sets. I'm still working on said skill sets. I want to ease into fight camp, not have to worry about weight loss, like stressing out, and just
How much are you weighing right now? What are we at now?
I don't know, about 100-ish, 102-ish.
Okay. Yep. And just quickly, with those two styles, like you mentioned, like your sister coming forward at you in the kitchen, how do you see you guys matching up? Because you've obviously got a really cool style yourself. You like to you got a great sort of very fast style with your own striking. You got a lot of precision. How do you see you guys sort of matching up with Sean sort of coming at you in this one?
I like the matchup. You know, I think it's very hard to stop me coming in, and I have the skills to negate him closing the space. I'll leave it there for now.
All right, guys, I want to talk to you about our sponsor, MANSCAPED, who make this podcast possible. I'm, of course, talking about the Chairman Plus, the electric foil shaver by MANSCAPED, placing the power of a barber-quality shave in the palm of your hand. Whether you're suiting up for the boardroom, getting ready for a date, or setting the stage for cuffing season, the Chairman Plus delivers professional-grade performance tailored to your style. It's luxury reinvented for the modern man who demands more. Ready to step up? Why not join the trusted movement? Over 12 million men. Visit manscaped.com now. Use the code word submission. Get 20% off and free shipping now, and you keep this podcast going. You support this show and you support yourself. Just quickly, what makes the Chairman Plus stand out? Well, it's all about versatility and precision. It comes with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads, uses 3-blade foil for a close, smooth shave, has skin-safe technology to help reduce razor burn, and of course, the Chairman Plus is waterproof, so it lets you shave right in the shower. And by the way, how about this? 60 minutes of runtime on a single charge, so you're sorted no matter where you go. MANSCAPED also has a 30-day money-back guarantee, so why not try it risk-free? Use the code word submission, 20% off and free shipping today. Risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. MANSCAPED keeps the show alive and keeps your dating life and your smoothness alive too. Jump on MANSCAPED right now. And guys, I just want to talk to you about our other sponsors, SAILY. SAILY is a groundbreaking eSIM that has you sorted wherever you go in the world. Super low prices, super easy to use. All you got to do is download this app. Have a look at me. I'm in the app. I choose the destination to where I need to go. Boom, click a couple of buttons and I'm set. Forget about taking out your SIM card. Forget about lining up in long lines at the airport. Forget about having to change your phone number and everything about your phone. SAILY has you sorted. It's easy, it's simple. It comes with all the security features that you need. Why not just use the amount of money that you need for the destination that you need without having to sign up to crazy plans that go for months at a time that you have to get out of, or paying per day crazy amounts of money and coming back at the end of the holiday to having to take out a loan just to pay off the amount of money that you spent on the holiday using your phone. So do this right now. Go to saily.com/submission or click the link in the bio below. Get 15% off your first purchase with the code word submission. That's 15% off your first purchase with the code word submission. Get SAILY in your life and change it forever. And now, back to the program. Couple of fan questions here. First one. CEO of EPO wants to know, would you ever shave the goatee or grow a full beard? This is a good question, man. Well, where are we at? Because that does grow out the goatee, but we've never seen the full beard or the full shave before.
Yeah, I don't really grow a full beard. You know, it's kind of patchy.
Doesn't grow on the sides?
Nah, not really. I've been growing this for like 15 years, something like that. You know, it's just, yeah, I don't really grow a full beard. If I could, I probably would, but yeah. And not to mention, this has kind of become like a trademark for me, right? It's become a look.
You reckon one day when you retire, you just keep the mustache?
You know what? The mustache is coming back.
It's back, bro.
I see it around, dude. The mustache and like the mullet, it's back. If I could do that, I would. Like, I love a good mustache and mullet, man. That combo hits different.
What about this one, man? Who wins between Ankalaev or Alex Pereira? That's a good fight, huh? That's going to be very interesting. What do you think?
It is. Oh, mate, it's tricky. It's so hard to say because Pereira has like shut down a lot of questions, but he's never really been tested against proper wrestlers. Not that Ankalaev is like a full-blown wrestler, but it seems like the theme of the story is that he's looking to just take him down for 25 minutes. And if that's the case, then yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a long night for Pereira. The whole thing is, though, you shut Pereira down by getting you on his back. Okay, that's how you beat Pereira.
Yeah, dude, and I'm still super bummed about this Gaethje Dan Hooker fight.
Dude,
not being on there, man. That was going to be, and I know they're looking for a replacement, but man, my heart goes out to Dan Hooker as well, who's been in the build-up for this Justin Gaethje fight.
Yeah. Honestly, though, like I'm super disappointed because that was going to be an absolute barn, but I'm also not because one of those dudes were going to die. Like, I don't want to see that. You know what I mean? No one was going to win that fight out of Gaethje and Hooker, right?
Yeah, man. Two worlds colliding. Last one, because I know you got to get going. MMA Mac, what's your dream matchup? As in, who would you choose to fight out of anyone in UFC history? And this guy says he personally would have been keen to see you versus GSP for the belt. And of course, for people that don't remember, there was like a small chance of that happening back in the day when GSP became champion. People were like, hey, man, you know, maybe this Robert Whitaker fight could happen. Of course, he ended up retiring after that one. But yeah, do you have a dream one, man, that never happened?
I guess, you know, that fight would have been good against GSP, just, you know, out of respect, you know, just to test myself against a guy that's built such a legacy. I think that fight would have been really, really cool.
Yeah. I always wanted to see you versus Anderson Silva but you never wanted to talk about it whenever I brought it up. You're always like, why are you bringing this guy up? I've got the next guy that I'm focused on. All right, guys. Robert Whitaker, of course, MMA Arcade, one of the best podcasts out there. What are you boys doing? What's coming up on the show? What can we look out for? Some big cards coming up, of course.
Yeah, there are some big cards.
Yeah.
There are some big cards coming up. Same as we usually do. I'm getting back into it because I've been away for a little bit on the holiday, but looking to do some predictions coming up. Also, some new games are coming up. Monster Hunter Wilds, cannot wait. And yeah, that's kind of our theme, right?
Yeah, brother. I'm playing High Life on PSN. That's a great game. I never realized that was a good game until I played it. Guys, there he is, Robert Whitaker, absolute legend. Thank you so much, man.